Steve, we are not going to be able to think about 2009 without thinking of Bernard Madoff. And we're standing outside his apartment. Steve, we are not going to be able to think about 2009 without thinking of Bernard Madoff. And we're standing outside his apartment where so much of the action happened. Tell me, is that, in your mind, is this sort of like a scam of this once in a century, or are we likely to see more of these types?
Well, I think we're likely to see more. In fact, I'm fairly certain we'll see more. Will they be $60 billion in scale? I think that's unlikely. But it's certainly not unlikely that we're going to encounter multi-billion-dollar Ponzi schemes and frauds. And in fact, I would argue that they are probably underway and just haven't been revealed yet.
Now, I mean, part of the thing that threw so many people is that he was well known. He was an upstanding member of the financial community. Are those the typical people that are perpetrating these kinds of scams? I mean, are they posing as legitimate members of society?
Well, I think they are. I mean, I think that's the unfortunate reality, is that the fraudster typically is somebody who is trusted. Otherwise, they're not in the position to really bilk particularly wealthy investors out of their funds. I mean, somebody who's on whose picture is at the post office is not likely to be able to successfully run a Ponzi scheme or a major fraud like this.
You mentioned that the government had really neglected the white collar criminal area for a while. It's playing catch up now. Are they in a situation where they're actually catching up, where they have the resources to go after these type of criminals, or are they still one step ahead?
I think the criminals are at least one step ahead. On the other hand, I do think that the SEC, the IRS, and a number of regulatory and law enforcement agencies are doing a really yeoman's job of trying to catch up. They're putting the resources in place. The Galleon hedge fund trading case is an excellent example. But they have a long way to go. Resources were understandably directed away from white collar towards counterterrorism, and we're just beginning to move to more of a balance.
What's your advice to investors out there who watched all this news with dismay through the year? What should they do next year, the year after, when they're trying to protect their money?
Well, I think that what they really have to do is be cognizant of the fact that there are predators in the financial markets at all levels. And what this really means is you can't, I mean, you do have to apply common sense. If it sounds too good to be true, there's almost no doubt that it is too good to be true. Look at those financial statements. Question what you see. Don't suspend your disbelief and apply professional skepticism.